Hello, everyone. My name is George Duddy. I've written a book, and it's called "Called by the North." And I'm a I'm a retired civil engineer who started in this writing business about 10 years ago. I have an interest in the fur trade, as my dad spent 20 years in the Hudson Bay Company. He started in uh, northern Manitoba and worked in northern Alberta and BC. And his last posting was in Fort St. John, where I was born. Anyway, I grew up on Vancouver Island, and then I went to UBC, and I had a wonderful career with BC Hydro in developing hydroelectric projects throughout the province. I have some nautical history in my family. I had a young fellow in the 1800s, an ancestor of mine who was a midshipman in the Royal Navy, and he was killed off South Africa, and he fell from the mizzen top. And on the other side of the family, which are Scottish, I had a great grandfather who was a master in both sail and in steam. And on the other side of the family, there was a ship owner who started a firm called Cedar White and Company that had steamships that went out through the Suez Canal to India. So I had that background. My dad was very interested in this history, but he never went to sea. But when I was a boy, we lived in Machosen near Victoria, and we were always on the coast. And I observed the Royal Canadian Navy tugboats, and we were right opposite the William Head quarantine station, and I could see ships coming and going. And so I always had an interest in nautical subjects. The book is Called by the North. It is published by Heritage Books. That's Heritage Books in the United States, not the local one. And it has a subtitle, and it's called Extraordinary Adventures of the Fur Trade, Shipbuilders, Navigators, and Traders in Northwestern Canada and Alaska. The book is about the marine transportation systems that initially supported the fur trade and later settlements of the Arctic and the far north in Western Canada. Yes, this book mentions well-known Arctic personalities such as Amundsen and Stephenson and Rasmussen and even Henry Larsen, but this is not the focus of my book. There was many other individuals who contributed significantly to the Arctic and the northern transportation system, and they have wonderful, interesting stories that are not well known. And I think that somebody needed to pull all this together and to tell these stories, and they're very worthwhile stories, and they're interesting and wonderful adventures, and these people endured terrific hard times and exposures, and they achieved wonderful results. I think people don't realize what an interesting history we have in the North, and I think I pulled as much of it together as I can in 280 pages. There's more that could be written, but this is my effort. I've done some more research, and I could, if I had more energy, I probably could write another book. But I'm 82 years old, and it was a tremendous effort to write this book, which I've done in 2 years. And I could never have done it without some tremendous help from 4 very important friends. One is an American. His name is David Brune. He's a former commander in the US Navy who is a prolific naval writer. and he's helped me, and he's helped me provide a publisher. The other is a Scot named Ian Cameron, who is one of the grandnephews of one of the principal characters of the book, Scotty Gall. The other two are Canadians. One is Catherine
Askew,
who is a granddaughter of George Askew, who is a featured shipbuilder in this book. I think spent a lot of effort trying to trace the full life of George Askew, amazing man who constructed over 60 vessels, ranging from fine racing yachts, stern wheelers, barges, river tugs, and ocean tugs, all kinds of vessels. And the final person is a colleague from the Nauticapedia project, Lynn Salmon, who has helped me no end of times editing and improving the language. In addition to being available directly from the publisher, the book is available on Amazon, and you have to enter Called by the North by George H.S. Duddy, and you can make the order through the normal Amazon purchasing arrangements.